From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One ball, corner pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
And Corey Clark.
Wake up! What's up, everybody? It's Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Coming up on today's show, it's Friday. We're going to get to the rest of the Renegade Express mailbag. People asking us about things like softball. Who's got the most technical knowledge of football over at warchant.com? Okay. We'll talk about all that stuff and more. Wake Up Warchant is presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill in Tallahassee, Florida, 2475 Appalachia Parkway, cptallybar.com, the website. Daily lunch specials from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday for only $8.99. And they do come with a side dish of your choice. Chicken finger basket on Fridays. Go indulge. Have a cold one. Throw some darts. Shoot some pool. Hang out. That's what you do at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, especially on the weekends. Again, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Warchant.com, the ultimate Seminole sports source. 5-star rating and review, please. Thumbs up, please, on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube, totally free. $29.99 for full premium access. All the insight from Ira, from Corey's columns, Michael Langston and Matt Lasserre's recruiting intel. It's all there. Gene Williams snapping photos, talking to the folks that make things happen for Florida State, relaying the news to you one-on-one on the Tribal Council. Do it. Corey, how are you?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. Hey, as always, I appreciate you asking. Let's get going.
All right, man, look at that. He's not fooling around. Where did we end off? We ended off on who are the 4 most important people in Florida State history. So let's go right to Bishop 1617. Wake up, Aslan and Corey first. Congratulations, Corey.
Thank you, Bishop. I appreciate it. Bishop, right, was the name?
Yes, correct.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
That's a strong name. Imagine if Brady was named Bishop. Bishop.
You think that's a real name? That might be the last name, I think.
Still, though.
I don't think I've ever met anyone named Bishop.
Yeah. There was a comic book character in the X-Men universe when I was a kid. His name was Bishop, and he was a bad man. So.
Other than, the team we cover having a Bishop on the team.
Strong name.
Besides Bishop Thomas,
yeah.
I've never met another Bishop, I don't think.
Yeah. All right, spring football's over. Month of May's right around the corner. How good do you think the softball team is? Should we start making travel arrangements to Oklahoma City?
There we go. I like that. Yeah, man. Look, last year they were incredible. That was a very, very good softball team, and they didn't make it out of regionals. Then the year before,
they did. They lost in supers, right, to Mississippi State.
No,
I thought
they lost in the regionals. They had to lose. They lost 2 in a row.
Oh yeah,
and then the year before, I think it was the year before, they weren't considered great through much of that season. They had to go on the road to beat LSU, much like the last FSU baseball team to get to Omaha. And then they were 1 win away from winning the national championship. So the point being, Florida State is in the conversation. They've got very good pitching, good fielding, and they hit the ball well. That's all a pretty good recipe, right? I looked this up, by the way, because I knew a softball question was coming. I didn't know how it was phrased. So not that we need a lot of – the record speaks for itself when it comes to comparing the two. But so the Florida State baseball team has walked 82 times less than its opponents. It'd been hit 19 times less. So that's 101 extra base runners this season that Florida State has allowed instead of been on base. Yikes. That's an horrible deficit that's an incredible – I can't even fathom that. 101 less times. They've only walked 116 times in 36 games, which is just crazy. They would do that over a weekend a few years ago. So anyway, that's 101 discrepancy between base runners. The Florida State softball team has walked 103 more times than its opponents and gotten hit. I mean, hit batswomen isn't a huge thing in softball. So that's 104 extra times that they've been on base.
They're in a surplus, kids.
Yeah, the exact opposite, right? Yeah. Like the numbers are almost exactly as the same. It's 104 to 102, but the baseball team is 104 less or 102 less, 104 less, whatever it was. I've already forgot the numbers. And the softball team is 104 ahead. And that might be why the softball team is 36-8 and the baseball team is 13-23. But yeah, I think the cool thing, I guess, I'm just looking at these numbers for softball. This doesn't happen a lot where you have we got 5. They have 5 pitchers that have appeared in at least 10 games. I mean, that's a lot. Mm-hmm. That's a lot. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that have pitched 17 innings, 4 that have pitched 36 innings. So the good news being, if you're facing an Oklahoma in Oklahoma City, and maybe for some reason they do have Sandercock lined up, they do have her dialed in, well, then you bring in McKenna Reed or Royalty. Like you have options that maybe some other teams don't have. But the basic to get to the bottom line, they are good enough to win the national championship. They're certainly good enough to get to Oklahoma City. But as we saw last year, nothing should be taken for granted. You can once you get to a certain level at both of these sports, anybody that's still alive can beat you. As Mississippi State proved last year, that was not even a very good Mississippi State team, right?
No.
And Florida State just had a bad day, literally a bad day. They had to win one game, and they lost 2 in a row. They lost a doubleheader at home, and then their season was over. So it's just, play well in June, man. Hope you get hot.
Yeah, there's no Jessica Warren. There's no Jesse Warren. There's no Sydney Sherrill. They still have talent. There's still pieces that have been to Oklahoma City. Like, does that give you pause or concern that they don't have that alpha lady that's kind of been the calling card for this recent rash of huge success that Lonnie's had?
No, because I like that it's not now look, Oklahoma has, 2 or 3 Jesse Warrens, unfortunately. They always do. But and I shouldn't say that. There's only one of you, Jesse. We know that. That play lives in infamy, and she was an incredible hitter too. But I like that they're deep. Like Katie Dack, for a lot of the at least for a large portion of this season, has batted 8th, and she leads them in hitting. Like, that's a deep lineup. Now, they don't have any superstar hitters, but they have, I'm looking at it now, 7 players that are hitting above 300. Nobody hitting above 343, but 7 that are hitting between 302 and 343. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players that play a good amount that are slugging above 500. So they got extra base power. They've got speed with Devin Flaherty and obviously Kaylee Mudge. They got a lot of. They can beat you a lot of different ways, and they pick up the ball. They're good defensively, and they have quality pitching. So it's a good recipe. But the point being that team that almost beat Oklahoma a couple years ago, they didn't hit any home runs most of the year. Right. They were kind of a slappy team, and this team has a little bit more power than that. But how about this, Aslan? They've only hit 44 home runs this year. They've hit 1 a game, which is not a great number. They've given up 12. It's a pretty good discrepancy, right?
Yeah.
They're slugging 523 as a team. Their opponents are slugging 261. Now, that's a pretty good discrepancy there, too. Now, let's go to the old baseball team. The baseball team has hit 37 home runs and given up 40. The baseball team is slugging 431, and their opponents are slugging 440. So a lot of different ways to compare this. Let's just say the softball team is very good. The baseball team is not.
Yeah,
but they can win it. They can win the whole thing.
Yeah, they're top 10 in a lot of categories. They're second in the nation in walks with that 188, 9th in the country in ERA, 6th in the country in doubles per game. So they just keep on keeping on. They just keep on keeping on.
And they put a lot of pressure on you with the way because they do get on base a lot, and they do have power up and down the lineup. Maybe not, Jesse Warren power, but they have doubles, and every now and again they can step into one and hit a home run power along with good base runners and people that get on base. That's a lot of softball talk.
That was 5 good minutes. That was 5 good minutes of softball. Kids.
Don't tell us we don't talk about softball. We do.
Old Dad's a Nole. Wake up. For Aslan, I love the hair. If you've had it, I apologize, but I saw you on the video with Langston. My hair actually looks horrible right now.
What's wrong with it?
It's going away. I'm thinking about. I'm going to start researching going to Turkey. Apparently, that's the thing now. Like, people go to Turkey, the country, and get hair transplants. So I think I'm going to look into this.
What do they do that we're not doing in the States?
It's just cheap, bro. It's just so cheap. It's like $2,000 and you can get your whole freaking hair done. And meanwhile, here $2,000 will maybe get you like part of your hairline back. So I'll let you know how it goes, everybody. I'll be unabashed about it. Like if I went and did this and it worked out, man, I would let y'all know. I wouldn't be like, oh no, just I don't know what happened. Start taking my vitamins. No, I'd let y'all know.
Yeah, there's no shame. There's no shame in that, right?
I don't know. It's guys. Like, oh, look at this dude, what he did.
I wouldn't shame you, buddy. You're just trying to look nice. Yeah, trying to look better. I get it.
I mean, like, there's like 5 seconds every day where I look in the mirror and I'm like, damn, dude, it used to be awesome up there. no longer. Hurts, but then you get over it after 5 seconds.
Right.
For Corey, congratulations. She sounds like a great partner to share your life with. Be sure to make it mutual.
Okay. Yep. Well, that was the ring, right? The ring made it definitely mutual. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. She is a very, very nice person, good person, wonderful person, and I didn't do it lightly.
Yeah.
So.
Little off topic. My question is for Corey in case I don't get to it next week. We're going on a Carnival cruise out of Jacksonville in 2 weeks. I've done Royal Caribbean, but never Carnival. If you did any, how would you rate the off-ship excursions? Also, more importantly, I know you mentioned blackjack, which I will play, but how would you assess the slots if you party played any? Cheers to the best two guys, Old Dad.
I mean, it looked like the normal slots that I see in the casinos when I go to on land. Didn't look so. I guess that's good. Like it seemed like a normal slot area. Obviously, it's not as big as like walking into Harrah's, but you got every kind of slot that I saw. You had every slot imaginable you could play. And I did Royal Caribbean, so we had an excursion one day in Nassau that Stephanie kept calling NASA. In the Bahamas, and then but we didn't do anything. We just stayed on the boat. I've been there, done that. You know what I mean? And then the next day was Coco Cay, which was the island, which is like this old. They made this like I don't know desolate island, their own little party resort for these cruise ships. I think Carnival goes there, but I don't know that for sure. Royal Caribbean did. It was fun. It's got a big pool. It's got a beach. A lot of places to go. It's got a like a theme park, like a water park thing. So it seemed cool, but we just went to the beach for a couple hours. We were more boat people.
Yeah. I've been on Carnival many moons ago, circa 2007 or 8. And I remember the casino being, a little bit meager, not very opulent, not very over the top, but it had everything you needed. So there was that. But I don't think they had like $10 tables. I feel like it was probably $20 minimum. But hey, with inflation now, it's pretty much a $10 table, right? Is that how it works? Economics, kids, economics. JML16, gentlemen, with the recent commitment from BJ Gibson, we now have 3 commits that plan to play 2 sports at FSU. While it's not uncommon for star athletes to play multiple sports in high school, it is fairly rare to play multiple sports at a major college program. Can you recall other recruiting classes with this many multi-sport guys? Clearly, they may not actually play both sports, but the intention is there, and Link accepted the commitment as well. Thus, this question.
You know what's funny about that? And no, I can't remember specific classes and who's in what, but I on Monday night I was lucky enough to at Corner Pocket actually. There was a charity event for Billy Sexton, former Florida State running backs coach, Wyatt's dad, who suffered a stroke, and there were a lot of his former players in town to raise money for his. It was a really good cause. But afterwards, they won't mind if I say this. We didn't do anything crazy, but Sammy Smith and Victor Floyd came to Corner Pocket with Bill.
Nice.
And so I was sitting there with Victor Floyd, who played in the mid-'80s, if you guys don't. I know Sammy's a bigger name than him Sammy was awesome, but Victor Floyd was really good too. And because I am who I am, I'd met Sammy before, and he's an awesome guy. But Victor I'd never met. And when he introduced himself as Victor, I'm like, Victor what? And he said Floyd. And I'm like, man, you ran for 212 against South Carolina as a freshman in 85. He's like, oh, you remember that? So then I looked it up just to make sure. And sure enough, it was 212 yards against South Carolina, 1985. But that wasn't the point of the story. The point of the story was I didn't realize I'd forgotten that Victor Floyd also played baseball and was good, like was a starting outfielder for him before he got hurt. He was on the same team where Ronald Lewis, who was a wide receiver, also played in the outfield, and Dion were all baseball players / football players. And they also all ran track. And it doesn't seem like – Sammy obviously ran track. He was a borderline Olympian. But it doesn't seem like that happens much anymore, does it? Like back then, I mean, literally they went to Omaha, and their 2 of their 3 starting outfielders were Ronald Lewis and Deion Sanders, who were also starters on the football team, and Victor Floyd would have maybe been in the lineup too if he hadn't been hurt. Like that's how it used to be, but maybe obviously not so much anymore because I guess specialization. So it is rare.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the question is they may not actually play both sports, but the intention is there. I wonder if the intention really is there. I'm sure they want to, but then reality sets when they arrive here. But yeah, I guess the crux of it, I can't remember a specific class. Like, I don't know who else was in the Devontre Richardson's class that was also playing multiple sports, at least here at the Division I level.
Maybe
but
Easterling, Taiwan Easterling played baseball
Yeah,
too,
there you
but
go.
I don't know if they came in the same class.
But I mean, ultimately, a lot of these kids do play multiple sports. Maybe not enough to come play both of them at this level, but a lot of kids will play basketball. I mean, a lot of wide receivers kind of dabble in both. A lot of kids also run track and field at high school and will be part of state championship teams. So there is that aspect of things. But yeah, I can't remember a particular class just being like loaded with at least 3 guys that have a shot, I guess, of playing both sports. So that is pretty cool, and I see a lot of high school coaches like pushing for this, which is crazy because you figure they'd be the selfish ones. Like, no kid, no son, you should focus on just football if you want to go play football. That's what your destiny is. But I know a lot of the coaches I still follow from back in Mississippi and other places are always pushing kids to play multiple sports because they think that if you're competing, like that's the most important thing when you're 14, 15, 16, like be in a pressure situation that matters. Be the 6th man on your high school basketball team and have to come in a tight situation rather than just be at a batting cage hitting, the machine or playing 7-on-7 or, just, doing dropbacks the entire time at some training facility. So, it's a good place to be. Getting high level.
I can tell you this,
athletes.
that I got to imagine Link is going to be like, oh, yeah, you can definitely play. We got a spot for you, I promise. Oh, no, please, come out and play. And I looked up, I told this on Headlines, I think, but there's a Game Changer app where you can look at all the stats from all these baseball games from all over the country, like any amateur game you want. And so I looked up Wilcox County, which is where I think that's the Gibson kid, right?
Correct.
The wide receiver?
Correct.
So they're not all on Game Changer. I could only find 7 games that Wilcox County had on Game Changer. And I know Wilcox is a small school, but man, every game he was 2 for 3 with like a double and a home run or 2 doubles. Every game with stolen bases clearly, and then also when he came into pitch, he'd pitch 2 innings and strike out 6. So there appears to be some real talent there. Again, I don't know who he's the competition.
Well, I don't want to assume too much, Core, but if they're a small school and there's only a certain amount of their games are available on Game Changer, it's probably against schools that have more means, or at least like parents that are dialed in and doing this stuff all the time. And they're probably a little bit more dialed in and like competitive, I would think. That's just my assumption. One man who's covered high school baseball at a level.
But either way, I think Norvell and Link significant. And we know Bob Raymond will he's coached a bunch of football players in track, and it's usually either baseball or football, or baseball or track, are what the football players, the other sports they do. It's just basketball's too hard; they bump up against each other, the 2 seasons. But I can promise you that Norvell is going to give them an opportunity to play both. I genuinely think that. I think he will let those guys go out for baseball. He wants them to succeed in another sport. And I think you're right, man. I don't think, especially a wide receiver, like a quarterback, maybe you want him more dialed in the spring or during mat drills. I don't know. But a wide receiver, yeah, if he can go help another one of your teams on campus, one that desperately needs it, I can't imagine Norvell having an issue with it at all. It's just a matter of can you do both and can you succeed at both?
You want to do both, right? I mean, that's
absolutely
what it really is. Like that's
you have to want to do it, and I mean, clearly these guys want to do it. So hopefully it works out.
Thomas Ortner, he's back from Chile, which is what the folks on the board say when they get banned. Welcome back, Thomas. Stay in line. If you combine the SEC and the Big Ten, and then you add FSU and you do power rankings, Florida State's the 5th best team, right?
Going into 2023 or all time? Like, I assume he's asking for this team?
I think so.
This season?
Right now, right here and now. Probably. I mean, Georgia,
Michigan,
Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State. That's 4. You want to put us ahead of Clemson?
Well, he said just Florida State, so
true.
It's everybody else in the SEC and the Big Ten. Yeah, I mean, we'll find out in Orlando about LSU.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that seems about right. I feel like that's what it was at the end of last year. I would have taken Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, and Ohio State above Florida State last year. But I don't know that there's anybody else from the SEC that I would have taken ahead of Florida State. And I certainly don't think there's anybody in the Big Ten that I'm not thinking of. But here's the thing. Penn State's good enough to beat Florida State. I mean, you're talking about yes, I think Florida State's probably behind those 4. But it's not like, in my opinion, they're so good that they couldn't lose in Madison or they couldn't lose at Tennessee, or at home to Tennessee. Like, they're good. I think they're the 5th best, maybe 4th. I don't know. None of those other teams have quarterbacks, do they?
Right, that's the thing. Yeah, because Penn State and Tennessee were ahead of Florida State at the end of last year, but Tennessee lost Hendon Hooker. All they're saying this Joe Milton kid might be just as good. So, but yeah, those are the only 2 schools that are in the SEC and Big Ten that are ranked, that finished the season ahead of Florida State last year, other than Georgia and Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama that we already mentioned.
All right. Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, be a homer. Pump a chest.
I mean, hey, man, going into this season, they have a lot to like.
Yeah.
A lot to like. And got a little, well, it's a long way away, but Dexter Carter's kid committed.
Yeah.
He's a freshman in high school right now, but apparently he's really good because he's got offers from everybody. So that's cool that he committed. Old Dexter. That's good that there'll be another Carter wearing garnet and gold, apparently.
Now that you mentioned that, kind of buried the lead, I guess. Another roster spot was opened up by news of Zane Herring out of Madison County, been here at Florida State for a few years now, entering the transfer portal. Offensive lineman, which was a position I think a lot of us kind of figured there'd be a little of attrition there, some folks looking for other options. So he announced that he was transferring. Again, this is somebody that's, I don't think was in the 2 deep. Actually, he was out there at the 2s a lot, but they were mixing and matching. Demetri Emanuel's out for large parts of the spring. We know that Robert Scott wasn't available, so when all that stuff sort of settles, you probably kind of look at the depth chart and get a better idea of where you stand. So that's 5 players now, Corey, since spring started that have left the program. Derek McClendon, Brendan Gant, Antavius Woody, Stephen Dix Jr., and now Zane Herring. So,
and I think if you count,
really,
count after December, you also I can look it up real quick while we're talking. So they've lost those 5 guys. Remember, I'll count them down: Stephen Dix,
yes,
Woody, Gant, McClendon, and now Zane Herring. And then I'm going to go down a little further back to when the first portal window opened, and you lost Jarrett Jackson, Malik Feaster, Rod Orr.
Ah, sweet Rod Orr.
Malik McLean,
9.
Keyshawn Helton,
10.
Trayshawn Ward,
11. Wow.
Sam McCall,
12.
Amari Gaynor, and I guess that's it. Maybe I'm missing somebody. Trayshawn, did I say Trayshawn?
Yeah. 13, huh? Wow.
But here's the thing. So out of those 13, and I'm going to be as kind as possible. Trayshawn, you can say you'll miss, but I feel like they're going to produce their running backs. Trayshawn was a very nice player for Florida State, and I'm not trying to be dismissive at all, but I feel like they're pretty good in that room still. Obviously, Malik Feaster, you're not going to miss. I think Malik McLean and Sam McCall. Maybe Amari Gaynor. Those are 3 guys. Sam McCall for sure you would like to still be here. Malik McLean, maybe. I mean, it wouldn't be bad to have him out there if he's going to take this next step we don't know about. And then Amari Gaynor, just because I do think you're wanting a little bit at depth at linebacker, and he's kind of a body type you don't really have out there. But other than that, right? And then also remember, consider who they brought in.
Yes.
You are clearly winning the portal battle.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of other guys here now that got pulled up. I mean, they lost Sean Bray Jackson. They lost Sidney Williams, George Wilson, Lloyd Willis, Demore Tate. So these are all guys that started entering their names after December of last year. So, they're a surplus when it comes to what they lost, what they have now. If you gave these guys values, point system, if you will. So, and
it's just, I mean, again, it goes back to the hit rate in the sense that out of those guys, whatever we mentioned now, 16 guys, like you kind of wish, okay, a couple of them might have stayed that would have contributed, but then think of all the transfer guys that have come in the last 2 years that you either have contributed and it's almost 100%. Like last year's hit rate was almost 100%. Greedy Vance, I mean, just go down the line. They all contributed in big ways. And then what they brought in this year in the portal. It's like it's what they're losing compared to what they're bringing in is just immense. And they got, like we said, they've got there's 10 more days for people to still get in the portal, and we'll see who Florida State brings in before June.
Yeah, really. I mean, the only miss, and you can't really call it a miss, would be Caden Lyles. Just he got hurt and wasn't good to go. And Winston Wright got hurt. But otherwise, it's Micah, Johnny, Deuce Spann, Tatum Bethune, Emmanuel, Bless, Verse, Trey Benson. I mean, they did bring in Malik Feaster, but that was really late. Jason Turntine's the guy they brought in at the last minute, but they still got use out of him. Sweet Mikey Russos, though. I don't know if that's what we were hoping when we signed Mikey here. It was,
he was a limit. I think he was a walk-on. I liked what he did in practice. I think he's got a lot of good huddle tape.
Nole for life, class of 2007. Wait up! There's been some positive buzz about Miami, less so with Florida coming out of the spring. It would be great if both programs sucked. But in light of what we saw during the spring from the Big Three, which program would Florida State benefit most from having a down year in 2023, Florida or Miami? Congrats to Stephanie for finally making an honest man out of Corey. Drink vitamin energy.
I don't know. It's hard to pick one or the other. Like, my initial thought was Florida. Like, you'd rather Florida continue to be down because, I mean, I think there's still – I mean, Florida State's 5th right now in the On3 recruiting rankings. And I'm going to go look real quick, but
Miami's way down the list. Miami's way down the list.
Florida's 4th.
Yes.
So, I feel like maybe you're still recruiting. That's still a tough – like, I think you could always stay ahead of Miami because the same obstacles that you have in the ACC, they have them, but even more because they don't get anybody to show up to their games. And they're having trouble with Life Wallet. So their obstacles are still more immense. Florida, you want to see Florida just be mired in mediocrity for a long time. I think Miami they just have so many more obstacles than Florida does that it's just Florida should be good, really good, very quickly. But, you hope that doesn't happen. So I would guess to keep this recruiting momentum going, maybe to get some guys to decide, I don't know if Napier's doing it right. Like, I don't know if Graham Mertz is the answer. They don't look very good. Maybe you get some guys that are, they got 5 4-stars and a 5-star that have committed right now. Maybe a couple of those guys change their minds. I think Florida being bad benefits you in the short term and the long term, honestly.
Like, Florida's just never going to go away. Miami might.
Right.
There might be a point where Miami's just like, man, we've tried everything. Not that they'll stop, but what else is left for us? Florida's never going to go away. So keep them down as long as humanly possible, profit off of it, and just enjoy the silence of them being miserable and terrible at collegiate intercollegiate tackle football.
Right.
It's great. It's great. I love it. I love it almost as much as I love Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com, promo code WARCHAMP, BOGO, BOGO. If you add an item to your cart and then you put that promo code in on your screen, you'll get an item of equal or lesser value for absolutely free. That's courtesy of our friends at Vitamin Energy that are Florida State alums. Isn't that awesome? They did all that for us. It's great, folks. I don't know what else we can tell you. It's going to give you 7 hours of energy at minimum. You're not going to crash because there's no sugar in it. There's no GMO ingredients in here. One of my favorite dishes every single day, cereal that I have, Corey. Apparently there's genetically modified ingredients. That hurt a little bit. But I know when I take Vitamin Energy, I don't have to worry about that stuff. It's kosher certified. It's made in America, too. So,
by Noles.
Yeah, it was really rough on Thursday. I'm not going to lie. That 4:45 emergency alert that came through, I didn't sleep well. And I'm like, whatever am I going to do with myself? I can't carry on today. I'm like, I got a whole bunch of Vitamin Energy. Took half shot, went to the gym, cranked it out, did the podcast. It was amazing. Do it, everybody. Shake it and take it. VitaminEnergy.com. Promo code WARCHANT. BOGO. Corey, did you get hit with the loud alarm at 4 a.m, or since you have a Georgia number, were you spared the encroachment on your privacy? It felt like.
No, in Georgia we did not either. We didn't get it, or it didn't wake me up, which I find really hard to believe that thing wouldn't have woken me up. So no, I think that was just a Florida mistake. And I do have a Georgia number.
Yeah,
I wonder if I was in Florida if it would have gone off, because it's still a Georgia area code.
Right.
But I wonder. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. But no, I did not get it. So it was supposed to be TV, right?
I guess.
That's what they said on Twitter. They came out and said that it was supposed to be an emergency broadcast signal for TVs that were still, I guess, on at 4:30 in the morning. Instead, they buzzed everybody in the state. What is that, like 11 million people? Just buzzing their phones at 4:45 in the morning. Oh,
More
boy.
than that, man. I had a burner phone, so it went off twice.
Oh,
It
nice.
was miserable. It was miserable. Until I got the vitamin energy in me. All right, get down or lay down, a.k.a. Kyle in Charlotte. Corey, can you give some of these young players who are not starting yet some fatherly advice on why they should stay with this program and wait for their turn instead of jumping into the transfer portal? I'm sure they all listen every day and want your advice and approval. Thanks, guys. Go Noles.
That's true. I get that a lot. Every time we're walking off the practice field, right, Aslan?
Yeah.
There's like multiple guys like wanting to take pictures.
Bubba
telling
Clark.
us how much
they call
they
him
love
Bubba Clark. Like, Bubba Clark.
Yeah.
What should we
And
do?
So obviously they're all listening to this too. And look, man, like, I don't know. I don't want to go on a Jimbo rant about society, but
Do it.
no, I don't, because I get if you don't think you're going to play. But I just can't imagine. You have to have self-awareness is one of the greatest strengths that I have, and it's one of the greatest strengths any of you guys could have. Like coming into a program as a freshman, like let's use Sam McCall as an example. What was he expecting? And again, I know nothing behind the scenes. Let's just assume that he wanted to go somewhere where he knew he could play. He didn't like that he didn't get to play as a freshman, and as R.E.A. Thomas did. What was he expecting?
Yeah.
Like, does he want to be on a team where true freshmen get a lot of playing time in a secondary? Because those teams aren't usually good. And he saw that they were good. He saw that the defense was getting better. He was being coached by competent people. What did you come to Tallahassee to do as a true freshman? What did you possibly think was going to happen? So self-awareness, knowing that you have to get better, and if you get better, man, I might be Jamie Robinson a year from now, 2 years from now. I might be Renardo Green. Like, just have some self-awareness and know that you're not owed anything. You're not entitled to anything. You come here and you compete with other good players. And if you think that, it just doesn't make sense from a competitive standpoint. Like, of course they're going to try to recruit people to compete with you because they want to be as good as possible. Go beat them out. That said, if it becomes pretty apparent, like, I don't know, 8 of the guys we just mentioned that went to the portal, that you're never going to play, you're never really going to contribute. Like, look, Zane Herring, I don't hold that against him. He's not going to play here. Stephen Dix is not going to play at Florida State. I don't think that's selfish in that moment. When you've been here 3 years, you can see the writing on the wall. You know you're not going to play. Bounce. Go somewhere where you can enjoy your college experience and get to be a college football player and actually get to play in games instead of just being a tackling dummy in practice. I get that, man. The games are fun. And if you're just standing on the sideline all the time, but you still show up for all the practice and meetings, I can get that would get tiring. But when you're a freshman, come on now, man. Just know how football works. Know how sports and life work. You don't roll in here and you're going to start as a freshman. Redshirt freshman, maybe. Sophomore, sure. But have the right, I don't know, man. And I don't think Norvell sells them this stuff, which is so refreshing, number one. But he's not promising anyone, a freshman, you're going to come in and play. You're going to have a chance. So, again, like Hakeem Williams. Like, how deluded would it be for him to be upset because he didn't shine this spring and want to go look somewhere else to go play? It's like, man, they are molding you to be a superstar in 2024 or 2025. That's been their goal all along, and you're still on track for that. Nothing has changed. So be patient and work hard, and good things happen to people that are really talented. So we'll see with Sam McCall, man. Maybe he plays for Texas A&M is awesome. Maybe he's on another team 2 years from now. That one always rubbed me the wrong way. Just number one, he did it. Didn't he announce it after the Miami game?
Yeah, it was in season. If I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
and then he took it, and then he deleted it, and then it ended up, as soon as the season was over, he went back in the portal. So I don't know, man. Yeah, that's my fatherly advice: is be patient and work hard, and good things happen. And water finds its level. If you're supposed to be a superstar at Florida State, I promise you, they want you to be one too. They want you to be a starter too. They are not going to hold you down, but you've got to get there. And I sound like I'm talking to Brady right now. Jeez Louise. Shut it down, Clark. Hey, I was asked, everyone.
He was.
I was asked. I'll hop off the soapbox now.
Or it can be like Jalen Hurts. Trust in yourself. Leave. Go elsewhere. And then get a $50 million contract. So.
Right, but imagine if, like, Tua had left before the national championship game because he didn't get to play at all as a freshman.
I know, but they were killing. I mean, they were playing in they're in the SEC championship game. It's one thing if you're a top 1 or 2 team in the nation versus you're 17th in the country.
No, I mean, I guess it's to me it's more about where you are in your career. Like, give it at least a couple of years at the school you sign with, because you're not going to be a superstar immediately. Florida State's had, like, I don't know, in the last 30 years, like 5 or 6 like freshman superstars. You're not going to be one of them, but you could be an All-American by your junior year. And the point with Hurts was Hurts knew he had lost his job and he was old, so it made sense for him to want to go get one more year of college football. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he wasn't going to beat out Tua. That was obvious. But Tua wasn't – I mean, Tua didn't know if he was going to play for sure. Tua didn't know when he was going to play, and he stuck with it, and it worked out for him.
Yeah, I think you don't have to, but last thing, we'll move on from here because we got more to go, and we're
okay.
I'm going to pick my spots where I'm pro player and advocate on behalf of the players. Like, my thing is always going to be probably their health. Like, we need to figure out a way to give these kids, like, long-term health care after they play football for these programs that generate all this money for them. And I guess I'll be fine with them. I transferred as a kid. Like, you should be able to probably transfer too as a football player. I'll never probably come around on NIL. Probably never will on that. So, like, that'll be my old man thing. But yeah, be tough.
I don't think I'm that far off with you with NIL, and I don't think most rational folks are. We don't like the thought of paying somebody for something they haven't done yet. But I don't think you have a problem with Jordan Travis and Jared Burst getting money this year.
I just don't want to know about it, man. I don't know. That's what's not a good. Just not a good. I get it. I get it.
You know what I mean? They've earned it. I mean, they have earned it. They've earned it.
Yeah. All right, it's Mark from Naples. Wake up. I'm feeling a sense of calm. For the past 5 years, we've wondered things like, will we make a bowl game? Will our coach leave? Will he be fired? Topics of discussion would be whether James Blackman or Alex Hornibrook would start. Would the offensive line be able to block anybody? Would our defense make another average quarterback look like a Heisman candidate? Would opposing receivers continue to run free past our defensive backs? Well, that's all in the rearview mirror. Now it's pretty simple. It's probably almost boring for you guys in a sense. We have a very good football team, possibly an elite team. So let's just go play the games, and with some luck, we can win the ACC again and possibly more. Do you guys feel the same way? Absolutely. That's well said, Mark. Yeah.
Yep. The thing about Mark, I'm not trying to blow up his spot, but he's a lawyer, and apparently a very good one, very successful one. You don't find, and I say this as the son of a lawyer, a deceased lawyer. I don't want to. That kind of sounded like he was still active. He is not. My dad is not active anymore.
You're always your son's father. Or your father's son, So.
But he's a very optimistic guy by nature. I think Mark is. Doesn't he always come across as a very optimistic? Even when, because we've been doing this for a while, even during the doldrums in the ugly days.
Yes.
I feel like Mark always had a glass half full approach, and that's I don't know if that's common with most lawyers, but I don't want to stereotype.
Well, when you're a lawyer, I think Monday through Friday, 40 hours of the week is pretty darn tough on you. So you need something. You need something to make you feel hopeful, something happy, make you feel childlike again. So it's sports. But yeah, we love them. I think that's accurate. Yeah, this is a very good football team. They possibly could be elite. I don't know about luck, but certainly wouldn't hurt to have some things go your way. Maybe your kick hits on the inside of the upright and goes in, or maybe you realize they're in the same coverage they were previously in the game and you don't throw into that window. Maybe don't find yourself in that because you do actually have a kicker at that point. But this I want to say boring, but now it's like we know how good they're going to be. Spring kind of reinforced all that. Now it's survive and advance till September 3rd, and then we'll really see what it's all about. Because I was joking with our guy Matt Lasser, our newest full-time employee at Warchant. Follow him, by the way, on Twitter. He's a great dude, helps out with team stuff and a lot of recruiting.
No blue check mark for him, though.
No. How does it feel to not have one? I don't like it, Corey. It feels it's naked seeing you on my timeline. You and I are without the blue check mark. I'm like, should I trust these guys anymore?
Right. It's fine. I just I guess I don't know why anybody would, but I guess somebody could pretend to be me. And you don't know the things you're reading if they're like, that bothers me a little bit. That I only go to Twitter for news. That's all I do is Twitter for news, breaking news typically. And it was cool to know that like, okay, that's a real account. I don't want to have to click on a profile to see if they have 2.1 million followers like Woj does, or 11.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm gonna have to do that now, so that makes it a little more. But what are you gonna do? It's fine. I'm certainly not paying $8 a month because I never thought of it as like a status symbol. We did it almost as a lark 7 or 8 years ago, and it just so happened they're like when I had like 4,000 followers, and Natalie, who worked at the Democrat, reached out to Twitter for Ira, her, and myself to see if we could get blue check marks, and I'm like, what? Nobody's gonna pretend to be me. Yeah. I only thought like Ashton Kutcher got them. But sure enough, even with like 5,000 or 6,000 Twitter followers or whatever it was, we got blue check marks. And now I don't know how many I have, like 37,000. Yeah. So if you see something from Corey Clark, just make sure it's by the guy. And I'm not tweeting a ton anymore, but make sure it's by the guy that has, I can't even open up my Twitter anymore.
Corey _ Clark. And Clark without the E.
There it is, 37.4 thousand. Yeah. So that's the guy you're looking for with the Hank Aaron.
But hey, picture. Some guy with 75 followers can have his tweet amplified though, because he's paying the world's richest man $8 a month for that. So that's cool. That's cool. Free speech, though, bro.
What are we gonna?
Anyhow, I'm gonna get in trouble. But yeah, I was talking to Matt just about. Like, this thing is going to be a rocket ship to bring it back to the world's richest man.
Oh, I was going to say, and apparently that was overall a successful mission.
Well, they knew it was going to blow up because it's so huge, but like it made it further than they thought, but it still didn't make it anywhere near going into the atmosphere or Mars or whatever they call it. So.
Hey, baby steps, baby.
Yeah,
baby steps. By the way,
5 wins to 10 wins.
Yeah, that's right. You go from 5 to 10. So that was going from 3 to 5, and now you go from 5 to 10. Because last week, I think it was NASA. It might have been Elon. I don't know. Announced the next crew that's going to go to the moon. Did you see that? Like, there's a crew of like 7 people or 6 astronauts that have been selected to go to the moon, and it's supposed to happen next year. The longer we've been away from the moon, I don't know, gang. I'm starting to think maybe it was a soundstage in Scottsdale. Like, we have, like, they say that the computer that got us to the moon is what's in an iPhone is less than what's in an iPhone right now. So couldn't we just tomorrow run it back? Like, just go to the moon just to prove we can do it? Like, it's going to take a year to get ready for it? Like, go. I want to be there July 20th. I want to commemorate the actual moon landing from whenever it's 69, so that was 31. It'd be the 54-year anniversary of Armstrong landing on the moon. Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, be on the moon when that happens. Why is it got to take a whole nother year to plan that? Those guys, they did it in the 60s. Anyway, just thought that was odd.
Or let's just invest the money on things that we need here on Earth. But hey,
man, it's all about innovation.
And politics. All right. But yeah, if we beat LSU, like, it's going to be amazing. If they don't beat LSU, I can't wait. Either way, it's going to be amazing to watch. So,
and if they what a September, huh?
Yeah.
The book ended September is that if you lose to LSU and then beat Clemson 3 weeks later, you're cool with that.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
If you go to Death Valley and win that game, it's been a good month. And flip-flop it. If you beat LSU and then lose to Clemson, that's going to be a bummer. You're not going to like it. You're tired of losing to Dabo. I get it. If you still go 3-1 in September, it's a good month, and everything is still ahead of you. Be a little tougher to get to the championship, to get to the playoff if you lose to LSU, but you can still do it.
I want to do like a mock man on the street interview in Clemson when Florida State wins, when like everybody charges the field afterwards. It's like, how does it feel? How does it feel to lose? Just go up to all these people like, I don't know, man. Just want to go touch the rock and hang out with my Clemson family. And just
I don't know, man. I don't know that you need to be getting in their faces. The Clemson fans might want to throw. They're not used to losing there, especially not to Florida State anymore.
Whatever. Their vineyard vines. What are they going to think? Throw their croquis at me and their sunglasses and their 3-inch inseam shorts. Come at me, Clemson dudes. Come at me.
Yeah, absolutely.
NI lover everything. Some might say NIL over everything. I see NI lover everything. Wake up! As a fan of the team and diehard Seminole, it's hard to know if I'm just drinking Kool-Aid or the players are that good. Help me and others judge the greatness of these players. I have a solution. Madden-style rankings for the players. Can you give the players ratings using the old NCAA Madden football 1 to 100 ranking? Here we go. We got to go fast, Corey. We got a lot more, and we're 45 minutes deep.
We don't have to say every player, do we?
No, he's got 10 guys, though. That's what
okay. All right, okay.
Jordan Travis, I'll say 94.
I was going to say 95.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trey Benson, 89.
I was going to say 91.
Okay. Johnny Wilson, 87.
91.
Okay. Jaheim Bell, 92.
89.
Okay. Rodney Hill, 86.
81. He's got to prove it. He's got to prove it, yeah.
All right. Fabian Lovett, 88.
85.
Okay. Kalen DeLoach, 79.
I think that's right.
Okay.
No, I'd maybe go a little higher than that. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say 83.
All right.
But somewhere in that neighborhood. Low B, high C.
Greedy Vance, 78.
I'd go a little higher than that, too. I'd get him in the 80s, too. Low 80s.
Akeem Dent, 74.
Yeah, 75, 74.
Jared Verse, 97.
Yep. 97, I like it. I think he'd be the highest-ranked guy on your team, even ahead of Jordan. Yeah.
What would you have Jordan's speed, elusiveness? I'd have his speed 91, elusiveness 97.
Well, no, see, to me, 91 is like reserved for Vandravius Jacobs or people like that, and I think he's not that fast. Right. I'd have his speed, compared to – for a quarterback, he's a 99. But I'm just using the speed of everybody else on the field. I'm going to say he's an 88 speed and a 95 elusiveness.
All right. Johnny's catching, 61.
Okay. I'd say come on now. Let's not go crazy. I'm going to say 75.
All right. I haven't played Madden or NCAA in like 20 years, so I don't even know.
I haven't either.
Trey Benson tackle breaking.
95.
Ooh. I'll go like 90. Break it against LSU, and I'll get you. I'll go higher.
That's right.
I mean, I don't want to be a jerk. Like, was he running over Clemson and LSU and those guys? I mean, I know he was doing it to Louisiana and Georgia Tech. That was cool.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And Miami. Don't forget Miami. He ran all over those guys.
Yeah, those guys. Major League Baseball finally back. NBA playoffs in full swing. MyBookie, your one-stop shop for all your betting needs. Wide range of betting options, including money lines, run lines, totals, futures. By the way, again, Florida State, 21-1 odds to win the national title this upcoming season. Why not? Why not throw 50 down? MyBookie.ag gives you plenty of ways to bet on your favorite teams and players. They also have the MyBookie Money Bag, which gives you the chance to secure a bet on your favorite team or player at insanely boosted odds. Sign up today at MyBookie.ag. Use the promo code WARCHANT, and you will secure a first deposit bonus of up to $1,000. It's simple. Deposit $200, you will have $300 instantly to play with by using the promo code WARCHANT to claim your bonus. So if you're a baseball fan, basketball fan, or obviously big-time college football fan, add even more excitement to these upcoming seasons and the in-season by looking no further than MyBookie. Sign up now and get ready to experience the thrill of betting like never before. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Naked_Noel. Wake up! At the conclusion of the spring game. Oh, this is a fun one. Here we go. This is a fantasy question. Let's see if I can play some chimes in the background. At the conclusion of the spring game, you are to receive a mysterious package containing a shiny red button and a note. The note says, every time you press this button, 3 randomly selected scholarship offensive linemen on Florida State's roster will disappear. However, an all-ACC caliber player at a position you deem important manifests itself onto the team. The button stops working after midnight. You cannot confirm which linemen have disappeared until the next day. How many times are you hitting the button?
Once.
Max, yeah.
You can't hit it twice. You might lose Byers, Maurice Smith, Scott, Roddick. Like, you don't know. You hit it once and you lose. Let's say you hit it once and you lose. You're going to lose one good guy. It's not going to be like, and look, they're all good. They're all great kids. But it's not going to be 3 third-teamers. You're going to lose like a
you'll lose Emmanuel, you'll lose like Armella, and you'll lose
like Estes
Kanaya
or
Charlton or something.
There you go, yeah. So Armella, who could be really good, you already a starter. One of the other ones was a starter. Yeah, so if you do that twice, you might lose 60% of your two deep, or at least 40%, which is too much. So I would say just once, and then you see where the dust. Now maybe you get lucky the first time, and they're all third teamers, and then maybe.
But you don't know though, Corey. You don't know.
You don't know until the next day,
and then it's only for 24 hours that the.
But then the next day, my point being, the next day, if you don't lose anyone of consequence, in your opinion, and you just got yourself an all-ACC defensive end, do you dare hit it again and test fate?
No.
Okay, you're done.
All right. Put the chips in my pocket, or maybe, no, I'll walk away. Away. I've learned to walk away at my age. I've learned to walk away.
Good. It's a good question, though. It's a good question.
Thanks, Nick and Noel. Tennis ump. Wake up. Congratulations, Corey.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Last year, we averaged 36 points per game. What's your prediction for average per game this year? I really feel that we'll be around 42 or one more score per game. That could be 39. I feel better about 39 than 42. I have not been this excited about a season in a very long time, especially living in SEC country as I do. I mean, it's 9 years. I guess 9 years is a long time.
It is.
Man,
people were probably excited about 17.
Yeah.
That's still 6 years ago, man.
Yeah.
Long time.
I know a lot of people are excited about Willie's first year. I mean, I was there for a minute.
That's true. So 5 years maybe, but still, it's a half a decade. It's a long time.
If I give you the over-under...
You had a lot. Think about how much hair you had back when the first time you were excited. Last time you were excited.
I was talking to my brother about, like, my father. My father's going to be 80 in August. And I'm like, Dad, though, has been 80 for the last 15 years. Like, he's held up fine. Like, he looked when he was probably like in his late 60s, early 70s, like he was 80, but he's looked the same for like the last 15 years. So
that's the way to do it, man.
Yeah, he's held up really well. Like, my hair has looked this bad, though, for like the last 4 or 5 years. But I think it's kind of maintained this level.
Right, that's good.
Support the sponsors, as always. I love my DeLuna coffee, and I can get registered sausage in a store here, but not the andouille. Is that how I pronounce it? Andouille?
Andouille. I think so. We haven't really come to a consensus on that. But go talk to the meat manager and get yourself some andouille.
40.5. Would you take over/under average points per game for Florida State this coming season?
Under, but I think you're right there. I think you're looking at 39 or 40. I don't trust them to play at a pace that can get them consistently into the mid-40s.
Is it pace, though? But isn't it the schedule and just pummeling people like you did Syracuse and Georgia Tech and Louisiana? Like, isn't that more so? Like the schedule being favorable? North Alabama. I mean, I don't know. I think that's kind of
but when you play like a competitive game, and there will be at least plenty of those. There will be 4 or 5 very competitive games. I just think those possessions get a little longer. I think instead of having 13 or 14 possessions in a game, you have 11. And so I just think that but hey, man, I could be wrong. I hope they do play faster. There were times this spring when they went really fast. So hopefully that will be part of the offense moving forward. But I would say 40 is a perfectly reasonable expectation.
Only 6 teams averaged 40 or more points last year. Only 2 teams averaged more than 42.
Who are they? TCU?
Tennessee and Ohio State.
Yeah, so they're not that. But they could be close to that, and they do play a favorable schedule.
Yes.
So, and if you look at the last 7 games, I would dare say the last 7 games they averaged over 40 points, I would think.
Yeah.
They had to be close to it. So, yeah, I guess they could do that for the whole year.
Yeah, they went 41, 45, 38, 49, 45, 35.
Yeah.
Strong.
So that's pretty good. Pretty good finish.
Norvell to the Natty. Ugh. Hate Natty. Sorry. Wake up. Congratulations, Corey and Stephanie.
Hey, thank you. She says thank you, too.
If you had to go back and pick a year we would win the Natty, what would it be? He's not allowing you to pick 1996. First time posting, thanks for all y'all do.
First time posting, we don't know where Natty is?
No, we don't know.
Come on now. Come on, Nat Dog.
I mean, this is first time posting, I think, period, on the boards, too. So that's pretty cool.
All right.
He's been around since August 15th, 2022. #Dollar Club.
Right.
Think about that, everybody. Can you believe people out there did not sign up for this website when it was $1? Like, that makes me angry almost.
It's nuts. It's nuts. They probably call themselves Florida State fans to their friends, but they're
not.
not.
You probably have some knockoff $10 license plate on your car, but you wouldn't pay $1 for a year of Corey Clark, Ira Schofel, Gene Williams, Michael Langston. Just saying.
What's a knockoff license plate?
Just one that's, like you picked up like on the side of the road, like not an officially licensed. It's like it's got some sort of FSU logo. It's got a spear on it. That's not even like a real spear. That's been on anything that's Florida State,
Okay. All right.
Anyhow, that was classist. I apologize. There's 2 answers here, I think.
But we can't choose 96?
Can't choose 96.
I don't want to play the game. That's the one. It keeps Florida from winning it.
Yeah, that'd been big. How about this, Corey? Would you do 2000 or 2014? I would do 2014 just because that would solidify Jimbo as like an all-time great.
Oh, boy. Well, then definitely not that. If I had to choose those two, 2000. But then because the other team had just won one. All those guys had won one before. Well, I guess.
Well, that's it. You would have been back-to-back. Either you're back-to-back.
Yeah.
And I think you go back-to-back, and I don't know if it changes the way we talk about Bobby Bowden. I mean, Florida State was the preeminent program at that point. Movies are being made fictitiously based on Florida State, Lance Harbor, Varsity Blues, these sort of things. Like Florida State was the it program. So I don't even know how much winning in 2000 would have made Florida State even that much more of a glamour program. But, man, if they would have won in 14, just the amount of anguish it would have brought to so many would have been delicious.
That's a good answer. I think I'm going to go with 91, though. It keeps Miami from winning one.
Okay.
The heartbreak of wide right never happens. It never becomes a thing in college football.
Or it's wiped clean. It's wiped off the slate. Like, say Miami loses the next week and then a la Notre Dame in 93.
Right, and Florida State, backs in and gets to win the national championship. So I'm going to say 91.
But then we don't think about Charlie the way we do,
I think we do. I think he still would have been the first Heisman winner.
Okay.
I still think we think of Charlie fondly. Maybe not the guy but even Charlie lost the game. Okay. It's not like he went undefeated. So, he still had a flaw on that season. So 91.
What about 87? 91.
Yeah, that's because Miami won it that year too, didn't they? Yeah, Florida State was legitimately like 91. If you watch the Florida State Miami game in 91, I know there's a lot of people listening to this that probably weren't even born. It was that was neck and neck. They were very, very even football teams. Miami, this isn't a joke, just had a better kicker. Huerta just didn't miss when it mattered. Yeah. He just didn't. They had a better kicker. That's why they won and got to celebrate. In 87, Florida State was the better team. Florida State, I think, was they should have won that game by 2 touchdowns at least, and just a lot of nonsense happened. So I think to make it, I think that was almost a fair outcome, the wide right. It literally came down to a few inches. The 87 game, Florida State was a better team. So, you're right. I'm going to say 87. And I was 12 when that season happened. I fell in love with Florida State football because they were finally good. That means a lot to me, so I'm going to say 87.
Gator Kirk, now just Gator _ wake up. Congratulations.
Also, I don't think 91 hurts as bad if you had that championship a few years before that. It's still going to hurt. It's still going to be massively painful, but you'd have had that championship 4 years prior.
Yeah. Gator says congrats, Corey and Stephanie.
Thank you, Gator. I appreciate that.
He's got a new license plate. It's a vanity plate in Virginia. It's WRCH &T.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, WRCH &T. So a Warchant.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, that works. I wonder if we could get – so could I get one of those for Florida?
I don't think we have ampersand. I don't think we have special characters on our plates in Florida.
No, but I'm saying could I try to get some sort of spelling award? Like could I have the same license plate, vanity license plate in Florida that somebody else has in Kentucky?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, just making sure. I figured there's only so many numbers and letters. I just was making sure.
He asks all of us to support the baseball team in these dire times.
They are dire.
Somebody was like, I think I titled one of our podcasts a few months ago, like, FSU spring football observations, dire times for the baseball team. Someone's like, dire, LOL, chill out, man.
Yeah.
So I remember
this is
that.
normal. This is normal, right? Florida State has one of these every few years. These 2-20 runs.
Were there more or less orange jerseys at spring practice this year compared to previous years?
Much less. Yeah. I don't remember seeing any orange.
I don't either. I don't even know if I saw maybe one at Tour of Duty, but I can't recall anybody during practice. So Hashtag buy-in. Thanks, Gator. Cola Nole 95, not a soda fan, but he's from Pensacola, born in the hometown of Burt Reed and J-Rob, though, Panama City.
There you go. Nice.
Question. With this roster being as loaded as it is, who do you expect to take the flight with Norvell to ACC Media Days? I'm always a fan of bringing the beef, and with our offensive and defensive lines having the experience that they do, it's a hard pick. My vote would be Jared Verse, Rob Scott. I think Mike owes it to Verse for coming back after his draft projection, and who doesn't want more Rob Scott at the podium? Also, does Jordan Travis go for a third year? Lastly, congrats on the engagement, Corey. Stephanie is one lucky gal. LOL.
Amen. Amen. She needs to realize that every day. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's a good question if you're trying to, kind of publicize him for postseason awards and an ACC Player of the Year, I can't imagine Jordan Travis isn't going. And I can't imagine Jared Verse doesn't go. Is it 2 or 3?
It's 3. Because it was I remember it was like Marvin, Tamorian, and him, I think, one year. Or someone else. But yeah, I think they do 3 because it was him and McKenzie and somebody else.
Boy.
So that's how the ACC rolls, I think. Yeah, Jared and Jordan for sure. And then I'd love Trey, but I don't know if Trey's going to bless the mic the way you want the mic blessed at these sort of gatherings.
Yeah, I don't think Johnny loves doing – he's great at it. He's a really bright kid. I don't think he loves doing media, so I think he would probably ask off if he could. I don't even know how that's decided. I don't know if players feel that as like an honor or not. Yeah, Rob Scott's a good idea because he definitely would be energetic and engaging.
And he's one of your guys. He's homegrown. Like you actually, instead of just bringing a bunch of mercenaries with you. I like Rob Scott. Just the fact that he wasn't in spring, though, is a little bit tough. But I think everybody recognizes his standing in the team and the program. So I'd go with those 3. I think that's the winning trio.
What about Fabo?
He's been there before.
Has he?
Yeah. He was there last year, if I'm not mistaken.
I would say Johnny or Trey are my leaders in the clubhouse to go. Okay. Jared has to. Like, you can't not let him, but just as big a personality as he has. Or maybe they don't. Who knows what he would say? Maybe they would, especially if, people from Carolina are asking him questions or the Clemson media contingent is asking him questions. But clearly, Norvell doesn't really care that much about what these guys say. We get to talk to him a lot. And they have Twitter accounts. Or
Maurice. Maurice wouldn't be bad. Maybe Maurice is not as bubbly as Jared, but he's a guy that's been here through the hard times. Let him enjoy this victory lap, if you will.
Yeah.
So
it's cool that they have so many options.
Yeah, for sure. All right, again, let's tempo. Let's go period 3.
Okay, let's go.
Beham FSU. Good morning from the Magic City. That's Birmingham. Where does Keziah Holmes fit in the backfield this year?
It's hard to know. It's hard to say. He did not play in the spring game. He is a body type they don't have he's a big dude, and I do think he's going to be a part of the plans there. I wonder more about Toafili and how much he'll be at running back, how much he might be split out. I think he's such a different, unique skill set. He's got such a different, unique skill set that maybe Toafili doesn't get 12 carries a game. Maybe he gets 5, and Keziah Holmes gets those other 5 or 6, 7. I don't know. It's hard to know, man. It's hard to know. But I do think he has a role on this team. Don't you, Aslan?
It's tough to say. We didn't. They kept him. They let Trayshawn Ward leave. So if you stayed, they obviously value you. Trey's your everything. Trey's short yardage. Trey catches out the backfield. Trey converts 3rd and 7 on a conventional run. Toafili, obviously, the way he can catch out the backfield. Rodney's so electric. I don't know exactly what. It'll be interesting to see what happens this offseason when he's hopefully out there doing everything he needs to be doing. Then we can maybe get a better idea of how they're utilizing him. Because right now, I don't know. We just saw him with a black jersey on last year, and we didn't see him that much this spring. So it's really tough to say. But I agree with you, though. They like him. They value him.
I do, and I think maybe when they're in 20 personnel a lot, when there's 2 of the guys on the field, he's a nice option to have, especially in split backs, where, say, Trey Benson is on the left and Keziah Holmes is on the right. Well, you give it to Trey Benson. Well, he's got a pretty sizable lead blocker that you don't have. Jordan Travis doesn't have to be pretending to block. I think that's. I mean, that's 450 pounds, 440 pounds in the backfield there with when those two guys are there together. So I think he's going to play, but the four-string running back didn't play hardly at all last year, and right now they got four. I don't know who the four-stringer is.
Benson's 221, Holmes is 210.
Okay, all right,
close.
So that's close. That's right there.
The Walking Nolo won. I don't know if you guys are going to get to my question because I'm so late to the party, but I hope you do.
We did it. We did it, Walking Nole.
With this offseason now back in full swing of having no football, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. When are we going to up our game in golf recruiting? I mean, I'm expecting another Koepka to walk through the door any day now. It's about time.
I think they got some good dudes. They always got some good dudes. It's a great question, though. It's a great question. And we'll hold Trey's feet to the fire when it comes to his recruiting. But I think they're still pretty good at golf. I haven't checked recently. Go to the next question. I want to see what they're ranked nationally.
Hugo Boss. Hi, guys. First off, congratulations to Corey for his engagement.
Hey, yeah, what about Walking Noel didn't congratulate me at all?
He didn't. I mean, the 30th post in a thread where the 29 people previously.
Yeah, probably not. No. And I'm just kidding, by the way. Clearly, it's. But thank you for the congratulations.
He thought economy of words would be more apt to get his question read, so that's why he did it.
Smart.
Hugo Boss, first off, congrats to Corey for his engagement. Thank you for sharing with us a super cool moment. Off topic, who do you think among the Warchant staff has the most technical knowledge when it comes to football? Stuff like plays, what each position should be doing, and detail-oriented stuff like that. Thanks. Love the show.
I would say that's probably, by the way, real quick, because I just looked it up and I don't want to forget. Florida State men currently are ranked 6th in the country in golf.
Go. Well, they're doing all right then, huh?
Cole Anderson, a junior, is 11th in the country. And Brett Roberts, who I think is a local kid, I think he's from Childs maybe, is 20.
Former second baseman? Brett Roberts? Different Brett Roberts?
No, different one. He's 21st in the country. Nice. So they have essentially two of the top 20 players in the country. If you're top 20 in college golf, got a decent chance of being on the tour. So they got a couple guys there, so that's good.
They're doing the thing. I don't know, maybe Jeff.
Another guy in the top 35. They got Frederick Kettrup. I'm not spelling that. I'm not pronouncing that right. So they got 3 of the top 34 in the country, gang.
All right.
Just throwing that out there, everyone. And I'll tell you what, Aslan, it's time they win a national championship now. They're them and beach volleyball. You quit being so close and go take care of business one time now. Florida State's a really good golf program. Let's break through. Yeah. Maybe if the golf team breaks through, the baseball team will follow suit.
Let us hope. All right, who's the most knowledgeable on staff technically when it comes to football, Corey?
Jeff. Look, Jeff played at a high level. Like, he didn't play in college, but he was a college athlete that got recruited to play at East Tennessee State and then got hurt and never played college football. But he was good enough to be recruited. He was good enough to be on a 10-0 high school team that played with William Floyd and played multiple positions. Like, he played tight end. He played safe. He was recruited as a safety. So I think he's just because he played the most out of anybody on staff, I would say. But Tom knows what he's doing too, man. Tom knows what to look for. They're both, I think, the technical side of it are probably our two best.
My truth, wake up. I saw where Gene mentioned Norvell playing in a charity golf tournament for his charity. I saw the other coaches invited. Who would you put in his foursome? Who would you leave out? I meant to look this up. I don't know. So is it him and assistant coaches on staff?
I think I thought it was for the the Chick-fil-A Bowl thing.
No, this is a different one. It's a different one? It's a Southern Company Peach Bowl Challenge. Let's see here.
It's the Peach Bowl, so isn't that Chick-fil-A? Isn't that the same kind of thing?
Maybe. The Peach Bowl Challenge is the nation's premier collegiate, but it's at Lake Reynolds Lake. Yeah, that is it.
So I also think it's head coaches. It's other head coaches from around the country. Yes, it is.
I don't know who his foursome is, though. Let me see.
Well, probably Jimbo. You need Jimbo there, Cristobal, and whoever the Jacksonville State coach is.
Houston Nutt's going to be out there. Awesome.
Okay, Houston Nutt. He's not a coach anymore, is he?
Steve Spurrier's going to be out there. Tom O'Brien.
Okay, all right.
Thank him for 93. He was a coach at Boston College then, right?
I should know that. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes, he was. Yeah, before he went on.
Shane Beamer's going to be out there. That might be a little contentious.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was going to say they probably get along, but no, they probably wouldn't because Norvell just goes and gets his players every year. But they might get McClendon. I think McClendon's predicted to go there, so they're getting one back. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It doesn't say who's like part of his foursome, but I guess maybe for the exercises question, who on the staff would you want to be there on his team?
I think it's who around the country would be in a good foursome. What other coaches from around the country should be in Norvell's foursome that would be entertaining? That's why I said Jimbo. And Shane Beamer is a good one.
But Shane Beamer's already a guy there. All right,
well,
sure.
But I mean, we're just playing. It's a hypothetical.
Willie, Dan Mullen.
Nope, Willie doesn't count. He's not a head coach. Neither's Dan Mullen. It's got to be a current head coach. Let's play the game, Aslan.
All right, I defer to you. Whatever you said is good. That's it. We made it. Oh, actually,
that was the last one?
Gator Kirk came back. Second question. Since watching an FSU baseball game is like riding a roller coaster, what would you name the roller coaster?
Oh, that's not for I can't say that. I
Dark?
would have to bleep it.
Pitch Dark.
Because of pitch.
Yeah.
That's good, Aslan. You must have thought of that already.
I did.
You'd have just come off that. That did not just come off the dome.
No, you're right.
Well, that's a good one. The Pitch Dark is perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah. Worse. I was going to make a Jim Abbott joke, but no, I love Jim Abbott.
Oh, my gosh. What?
We have no arms, Corey. We have no arms. Just trying to figure something out.
Jeez, Louise.
All right, we're done.
Boy.
We're getting in trouble. All right, Corey doesn't endorse any of the things said on this side of the microphone, but thanks for listening to this edition of Wake Up Warchant. Jeff Cameron Show, likely 1 to 3 o'clock. Again, the transfer portal is wide open. We are on top of it. When news breaks, go to warchant.com. Go to our YouTube page. We'll have everything you need to know over there. Hit the thumbs up, 5-star rating and review as well, please. We'll talk to you folks on Monday, I'm sure. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thank you for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.